What's up, y'all, and welcome into Forte Catholic. I'm so glad that you have found today's episode. If you are new to Forte Catholic, we are all about making Catholicism fun again by sharing the joy of the gospel. We just want to be the best in Catholic entertainment, faith, and comedy, so we are glad you are here. And if you like any of those things, then you have come to the right place. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button, whether you're liking on or watching on YouTube or listening on whatever on your favorite podcast feed. Liv Harrison was my co-host today, and she is back in studio in person for the first time in almost a year and a half, and we had a blast. Well, I mean, she did. She drove me crazy, which is normal for her and what she does every time. I hope that you guys enjoyed the episode, and again, hit that subscribe button if you do. Enjoy it. What's up? Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll, and that is Olivia Newton-John. Hello, Olivia.
What's up?
We talked about last week if I should be. I'm getting everybody's feedback on this. Ever since I was on the radio, I've always introduced myself and the co-host.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself, or do you want me to introduce yourself?
No, it's your show.
No. Okay, that's kind of what Anthony said too.
Yeah.
Well, what Anthony said was, no matter what I say, it won't matter because I'm going to do whatever I want. He was right. Unless all four of you were like, yeah, we've hated that for years and know what that's like. That's one of my greatest fears. I guess because I'm a big personality, people don't tell me things that they hate that I do if I'm in a relationship with them. Actually a friendship.
Yeah.
People will just be like, it's just Taylor or whatever. And then they will it will just eat it. Just think if you hated that I introduce you every time.
Yeah.
I'm a woman and I can introduce myself. Think if you hated that this whole time.
No,
you've just been hating me for 3 years and I didn't know.
I love that we have now confused a tremendous amount because you have such a huge following, right? Millions?
I mean, all eight people are real confused. They're split right down the middle, 4 and 4.
That they're like, what happened to Olivia Newton-John? They're all like, dear God, should we start a GoFundMe for her?
I know. Olivia Newton-John used to be famous
and
now
could wear a leotard. And
now
they're
some Catholic podcaster won't even let her introduce herself.
And they're like, God, she looks like a mess.
Yeah.
So yes, you can send a GoFundMe to Olivia Harrison.
Olivia Harrison is who's here. And you, for those of you not seeing us right now, you
true.
are
That's
here.
true.
You are in my house.
Your house in your studio.
Without a mask.
Look, I'm touching your knee.
That's really weird. Thanks for letting everyone know.
Well, I can see, and those that are watching, so they know that it was okay.
I'm touching your shoulder, and everyone can see this. I'm like the guy that played in The Matrix. I'm not going to get in trouble for anything like this.
I give you consent to touch my shoulder. This is 2021.
Yeah, Olivia's back, everybody. So, for people that don't know, and everyone knows because you didn't stop talking about it for a year and a half.
Oh, for the love!
But because of some real health issues that you've had,
I do.
You actually had to be locked down from COVID, even after all of Texas just said, it's been 2 weeks. We're done with COVID.
Texas is like, we don't believe in that. We're just going to shoot it.
Right? Yeah.
It's a virus. And we can Grubhub that with our Bud Light. We can get a gun to shoot the virus.
Everything about that was really Texan until you said Grubhub. They don't know.
Why?
Those country boys don't.
Oh, they don't.
Those country boys don't
know
what
Grubhub is. Well, they just shoot squirrel and they just eat that.
Just eat grubs, actual grubs.
We love you, Texas.
Very filling.
True.
Great amount of electrolytes in these bugs. Hakuna Matata. So I'm just, it's great that you're here. And it's like everybody else's life has been back to normal for many moons.
For a while.
But you being back here, there was a part of my life that wasn't the same because you weren't here to pester me in person, and now you're back.
I see where we were
going. And I'm really happy about it.
Although you did force hug me when you saw me in real life for the first time. But I'm okay with it. If I blink twice, it means someone come to Taylor's house.
This is
fine.
This has been difficult. This is an interesting rocky start.
Okay, listen, here's the deal. No, you've been very kind. I am the last person in quarantine. I made it out, everybody. And there you go. So yeah, I'm here. I'm excited. I've been trying to get back to your studio for a while, but I keep getting new medical things and it keeps putting back that option. But here I am. And I'm excited to see you. And I got to see your kids. I hugged your kids. They
as
me.
Excuses to not hang out with me in person, making up medical issues is up there. Some of the best ones.
Listen, I just don't want to hurt your feelings.
Well,
Speaking of medical issues, how are you doing right now?
Doing great. That's a segue that I told you not to make specifically.
That's
because
why
it's
I did
supposed
it.
to be a surprise.
I want you
at
to
the end of this
be
segment.
so mad at me.
Well, you did it. So I did something. Speaking of Texas, I tried to be like the epitome. I did the thing that is the epitome of Texas summer.
You took pictures in bluebonnets.
No, that's spring. Like things.
I'm trying to help the people out that aren't Texas-y.
Things bloom in spring.
They don't know.
They know how seasons work. Like everyone that doesn't live in Texas actually understands seasons more because they have them. We just have summer, summer, a little bit cooler summer where we celebrate Jesus' birth, and then a little bit lighter summer where bluebonnets grow.
That's true. And then hurricanes.
And then the one snowstorm that ruined all of our lives.
So dumb.
So
all right.
I did the epitome of Texas summer.
Texas summer.
For something that I did a lot when I was like in high school and in college. I didn't even realize that I haven't done it in about 10 years. I went tubing down the Comal River.
It was the Comal?
The Comal. Is that?
It wasn't the Guadalupe. Wait, what is the other
Guadalupe?
One? The Guadalupe.
But if you're doing the epitome of Texas summer, it's called the Guadalupe.
Guadalupe.
So
those are the two. And the Frio.
The Frio.
The Frio is a big one.
Very cold.
The Frio is cold, which is why it's called that. What feeds into Schlitterbahn? Is that Comal?
I mean, it doesn't feed Schlitterbahn, but yes, you float around Schlitterbahn.
No. They use the river water at Schlitterbahn. It's the water from the river.
There's no way that's true.
I'm telling you.
There's no way they've put that dirty water into the place where people are paying to go.
I'm serious. It's cold.
I mean,
we got to look this up. We got to look this up.
There are multiple times that people tell me that mostly my co-hosts or guests say something wrong. I am willing to die on this tree.
Really?
Because like,
I'm telling you,
I don't even care if I'm wrong. Like if people come out and say that I'm actually wrong and you're right and that it was like they used the river water.
I'm telling you.
I was in that river water and it was gross. So if I paid $8,000 to go to Schlitterbahn for a day and they were using river water, I would be so angry.
I'm telling you.
Anyway, I had a great time. I went tubing. So I think a lot of people, I don't
think people know what it is because I didn't know what it was.
Okay. So like, yeah, I don't even know like if other people in other states do this, but it literally, it's 102 degrees outside.
Yeah.
You get like an inflatable tube that looks like a donut. You go sit in it.
Looks like a tire. It's black.
I mean, tires and donuts are exactly the same. They also look like Cheerios. You're an idiot, Taylor. They don't look like donuts. They look like bagels.
It does. They're black. They look like tires.
No, they're not.
Aren't they black?
There are.
I've never been.
As many colors as donuts. You also weren't supposed to. Why do I even do show prep with you? Why?
I don't know.
I'm a storyteller. And I tell you that like we're going to do this first and save this for later and do this and do this. And the two surprises you've already tried to give away.
I didn't surprise anything. Go ahead, Taylor. Am I off the show? Did I get canceled?
I think about it every month. So.
All right. So you're in a donut and you're floating down a river.
It's in a Cheerio and I was floating down the river. And like literally like the whole point of it, like I went with a group of friends.
Oh, okay.
So you seem surprised that I have friends. And that was
hurtful.
I
kind of was like, I
went with
there.
20 people that enjoyed my company.
Allison wasn't there. Was Allison there?
I'm
just kidding.
I have young people friends.
Really? Who are these friends?
Everyone that's not over 40, like the two of you.
All right, shut up, Taylor.
So, like, literally the whole point of it is just to relax and enjoy the Texas weather. So, you sit in the tube, you link up with your friends, like you can, if you want to, or you can, get lost.
Like the tubes link
Yeah,
up?
you can like tie the tubes together.
Oh, cool.
And so, like, I went with one of my best friends and a bunch of other people, and we linked up. And like, we had 20 people, so like maybe 3 or 4, 5 people would link up together. And then like you would go a couple of times, so you could link up with different people and have different conversations, that sort of thing. But it really is just to hang out.
Do you drink beer?
Enjoy the weather.
Do you have a thing for your beer? Like a tube for your beer?
So
because it stays cold, right?
Yeah.
The river's cold.
Yeah, the river was probably, I think it was about like in the 60s or 70s, so it stays cool.
Oh, nice.
Not too cold, but Yeah, people have like floating coolers,
Nice.
or if you don't have a floating cooler, you get another tube for your cooler. I wasn't drinking much because a whole nother story. That we're not, I had a procedure done on Monday and I was in a ton of
I don't know
pain.
what your story is.
Yes, you do. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. I had this little thing with my elbow and I was in a ton of pain, and this was the next day, so I wasn't drinking because I was on a bunch of painkillers.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Right, feeling good.
So, like literally, like it sounds like the most boring thing in the world. You literally just go sit in the river, and the river takes you down, and then after 2-3 hours, you get out and you go do it again. Like it sounds crazy, but it's so much fun.
Is it really?
Especially like, I mean, ever since I used to, when I worked at a Blaze, like I worked with 20 people. Like I was around people all the time. And then like obviously COVID happened. We were all by ourselves for a while. But like I don't see people. Like Allison comes over once a month. I go to the gym and I see one of my buddies there and we work out together. But like I don't really see people anymore. And I'm super extroverted, so I love it. So like going to hang out with my friends, like it was really, really cool. But you haven't been, and it surprises me and doesn't surprise me. Yeah, because like you've lived in Texas your whole life. Like, how have you never been?
Well, since I was
tubing?
10. No, I don't know. Like my family never did the whole river thing, and then I went to school at Texas Tech, and there's not rivers in West Texas. You know what I mean? So I think it's where people went to school, like college, because people do it in their 20s, and so you hear a lot of people who went to like Texas State, A&M, I don't know, UT, the San Antonio crowd kids, the Austin kids, but you don't have West Texas kids. I mean, we don't have a river. So I never did it, and then I got married at 22. So it's not like Nathan was like, "Let's go tubing." I mean, have you met Nathan?
There's not a rule about that.
I'm just saying he was. I don't know. It is a dream of mine. I'm not kidding. Like other people have dreams. I want to go to Japan, and I want to float on a river in Texas.
It's ridiculous how
serious
completely opposite your dreams are.
It's
like
true.
One of them is incredibly accessible and easy. It takes an hour and a half. We can drive there right now. The other one is just like, oh, okay, we'll go to Japan.
Expensive.
Whatever. Such a weirdo.
I'm serious. I do. I've always wanted to go. But it seems like so much fun. I've never been.
Well, we're going. I was texting you about it.
Yeah.
Like that day, and like that's when you told me that.
I've never been.
You had never been, and I was like we'll go next month. Like we're both here in July. Like we should go tubing. Like I don't know who else we should invite.
Bring Zach. He's 18. My kid's 18. He's never gone.
In Pittsburgh all summer.
No, he's home for July.
Really?
Yeah, and then he flies back in August. He has to come back in summer.
Yeah, we can bring your son. I was thinking we have to bring other people because it can't just be me and you in the river. We'll bring Zach. Like
Allison can come.
Allison can come, but like here's the thing. I don't want all her kids there.
Why can't
Because I don't want my kids there.
Why can't we hang out with your 20 friends?
I don't want you around them.
That's fair.
But like that's the thing. Is like
we share a lot of friends. We can call those people. I'll call people. It's fine. Well, I've got young friends. I do.
You're now in charge of our tubing trip in July.
Oh dear.
Pick a date. Let me know.
Okay, well I'm going to Disney.
I'll actually be in Japan all of July. I'm doing that one first because it seems easier. Ridiculous.
That's probably true. I know how to get to an airport. I'm on a plane, but I don't know how to get into a tube. Actually, that freaks me out. How does one get into a tube? Do you go butt first? Do you go up through it?
So have you ever gotten into a pool?
Yeah, but I didn't. Listen, no, because when you're morbidly obese, you are the tube. So I never needed one.
So
I never needed one.
There are people of all shapes and sizes on the river, and
I want to know how you sit in your tube. Do you lay back? Do you lay on your butt? Okay.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
you like, and then like so like the donut Cheerio wheel that we have. So like there's obviously like there's the donut part, but on the bottom there's like mesh that so like you kind of sit in that and you just kind of lay there and
what
chill.
About snakes?
There are tons of snakes. Everyone gets like 1 in 3 people get bit every hour.
Did you make that up?
Yes. Why would anybody go?
Oh my gosh!
Snakes.
I just panicked. Okay, I have been in a lazy river at the Texas Marriott Marquis. They have a lazy river in the shape of Texas.
I'm aware.
It's a bougie hotel. I've been there.
I'm aware. There are probably more snakes
No
there than out in the river.
snakes. Oh.
So like seriously, like there are literally at any point you can look and there's 100 people that you can see in the river because you're all going 0.1
There's
miles
really
an hour.
Oh, I don't know.
So yeah, there's.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. I'm in. I'll
Okay.
plan a trip.
all right, do it.
I'm so excited.
So you're gonna go tubing for the first time. It was my first time in a while, and I think like we're all in this time where like we're like, well, I mean, you haven't been before, but I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are doing things for the first time that they haven't done
Sure.
in a while.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we've talked at length about like going back to church for the first time in
I
a
just
long
did that.
time. Did
on
you?
Sunday.
I'm so proud of you.
Yay.
Did you pay attention to the homily?
No.
Yep.
It was so hard to be back.
Right.
It was so hard to be back.
Right.
It was hard to even want to go back, which I'm just being really honest and real. Like, it was so hard to be like, wait, I've got to drive somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
And like go there and like, you know what I mean? Like everything's hard like that. Yeah. My first time was Sunday.
And so like with church, I feel the same way. Like
it's weird.
It's one of those things that
I
like,
love church.
I mean, it's like if I wanted to, when we were watching on TV, if I wanted to pause mass, I
Yeah.
could. If I wanted to watch the homily at 2 times speed because it wasn't that great, I could.
Yeah.
Like, so going back, it was different. Like we got
It's different.
comfortable and lazy a little bit. And
Yeah.
like, and things change. Like when you go back to church, I went back to, we're both celebrating our anniversaries this week, 2 days apart. And so like my wife and I, like what we did, we go to dinner at the same place now every anniversary. We love it. It's like our tradition. But we also, it's so funny because it like seems super cliche. Like dinner and a movie used to be the cliche date, right? We haven't been to the movies in like
Did
19
you put your
months.
arm around her? Did you try to hold her hand?
No. Have I told you this before?
Did you make a move?
Like-
Why?
like,
I mean, you have 3
once
kids.
we got married, I was like, do we really have to hold hands now? We both just get clammy and sweaty. Like it's not enjoyable.
Stop it. Do you fall asleep? Does she fall asleep on you? Like, do y'all touch at night? Or are you like, no, it gets so hot. You have to
She
go over
sleeps in
there.
the guest room.
You have to. That's not true.
Oh, it is.
No, that is not true. Did you snore?
Huh? Well,
I have to sleep on Nathan's chest. Ever since I've lost weight, I can fit perfectly on him now, and I have to fall asleep on him, and I love
can't
it.
have anybody
And he loves it.
touching me while I'm
But
sleeping.
we're
like my kids will come in the bed and we'll try to like
punch
sleep next to
them?
me. Like no, I like literally just shove them over to the other side
that
of the
was
bed.
me forever, and now that I've lost so much weight,
Okay, I
I'm
went to the
all
movies.
Curly.
So I went to
So,
the
okay, no
movies.
touching the movies. All right, got it.
I went to the movies and like I was
Was it
sitting there,
amazing?
it was like one of the last, like every time I think of the movies now, I think of like Avengers Endgame. Like I think it was the pinnacle movie going experience, the best movie going experience of my life.
So great.
And it was like I think it was the last, if not one of the last before.
that you
Like
saw.
movie theaters are never going to be the same. So I went to the movie theater and like we enjoyed the movie. It was a good movie. But like the beginning, I'm sitting there. We got there 1 minute before like the time that the movie says it's going to start. And like everybody knows that's not when the movie starts. Like there's commercials. It was ridiculous. 37 minutes of commercials beforehand.
Of previews?
Like
Or,
previews
like, and commercials.
and commercials. Like
both?
yeah, previews and like
Oh
a
my
lot
gosh.
of the commercials or whatever were like essentially they had these commercials over and over again that like
Wow.
it started the screen like really 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 small
Yeah.
and it was like, you know, if you want and it would just like grow and grow and grow and like expand to the full screen. And as this is happening, they're saying like, if you know, we've all been watching movies on screens like this, but if you want the great experience, like, you know, it expands to the full movie theater. So like that it's a really cool idea. Like I think from their like marketing team,
They're
it's
doing
a
the
great,
right
it's a great
You don't
thing.
blame them.
Until we're 37 minutes in. And you know what's not good marketing for going back to the movies? Most shows are 44 minutes.
Yeah.
I could have watched almost an entire episode of another show before I watched that movie. So I'm sitting there for 37 minutes and I'm like, what? Like, why are we here? Why are we here? Like, so some things have changed for the better.
Right.
And some things
They're missing the mark.
they're missing the mark. And then some things that are good are difficult. That's just because of what has happened. Like going back to mass. Going back to mass is a good thing. It's way better to be there in person.
Sure.
But, you know, it's a little difficult to remind ourselves how to pay attention, how to, like, we can't pause. Like literally multiple times in the movie, ironically enough, we were watching Quiet Place Part 2.
No, how was it?
And there were it was great.
Okay.
There were multiple times where I wanted to turn it up, which I get is the most Forte thing I could ever do in my entire life.
Why is A Quiet Place so quiet?
It's so quiet. But like I wanted to turn it up so I could understand what they were saying, and I couldn't turn it up. I
Yeah.
couldn't pause it if I
Yeah.
needed to go to the bathroom. I
Rewind
couldn't.
it.
Like I didn't have not unlimited, but essentially when
Yeah.
I'm home, I have quote unquote unlimited food, unlimited alcohol. Like why Well, I don't want to go to the movies anymore.
And that's what we both love. We both love the movies.
But it's so great now
it's
because
one thing we have in common.
the reason we went to the movies is because it was the only place you can see them until about 9 months later.
Yeah.
Now almost every movie comes out on my TV for free the same day it comes out in the theaters.
I know. But Quiet Place, you could only see in the theaters.
Right. That's why we went.
They were, I mean, how has that worked for them? Because like In the Heights came out and it has not fared well.
Yeah, because
which is fascinating.
I mean, it's not. I get these streaming services aren't free, but it's something we're already paying for, or our friends are paying for. Let's be honest, and we can watch it on Disney Plus.
But
and
like Cruella, I think Cruella is doing well. I think Hamilton did well. Like there's other things that have done well, but Quiet Place was like, screw y'all. We're gonna go back in the theaters.
I loved it. I hate scary movies, and I love the Quiet Place just because of the family
they're
dynamics.
so great.
Okay,
That's like the best couple ever.
to close up, back to
tubing.
So the last reveal, which you tried to reveal 20 minutes ago, is as great of a day as I had. I loved it. We had one moment. Actually, ironically, I was speaking of movies.
Yeah.
One of the big adventures that we had was like you get out. So it's essentially like a U-shaped river.
Yeah.
So like about 2.5 hours it takes to do the U. And then you get out and you walk back. It's like a block or two,
I had
right?
no idea. Yeah.
Well, we took a wrong turn because it doesn't matter why. We took a wrong turn, so we ended up walking for like 25 minutes. We were like walking through downtown. So like I don't have my shirt on because we're too big. I'm walking by people like on the porch of restaurants eating their food. I'm just like, hello, hello, nice to see you.
So you were very Texas.
Yeah.
This summer.
Howdy, ma'am.
Howdy. And just take out this wheat.
Yeah, exactly.
Tip my hat.
She said wheat.
Wheat.
Just to be
Wheat.
clear.
Wheat.
But we walked back. We got lost.
Hey, take out this hay.
It's fine.
Right,
the
okay,
joke
fine.
ended 10 seconds ago. So
nervous.
we were walking back, and I was like, you know where the river is. I mean,
It's
you
a
can
river.
hear it, you can see it. So we get to the river, and we realize that like we're on the wrong side of the river.
Oh, jeez.
Like I was like, my car's over there. And the river like has a current, right?
Oh,
so, like,
yeah.
Literally, that's the whole point. It pulls you down the river.
Right.
But I'm like, we have to go straight across, right? So I'm with these two ladies, and I'm the larger person in the group.
I don't know where we're going.
So
with this.
I'm like, it comes down to the point where Taylor is.
Were you a mule?
I'm dragging these two women across the river, right? But we get to this point where it was like we get to the end. Like I can walk across this part of the river. Some parts were deep, but I could walk. I mean, it was up to like my chin.
You were allowed to drive, like on the Guadalupe. Like you could drive over and stuff.
Thanks for your input. So I'm walking across the river, and we get to the end, and I knew that like if you want to go straight, like it's impossible to go a straight line over the river.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to go like over there. Mm-hmm. I'm essentially making a triangle, right?
Okay.
I can't go straight, but I need to go
diagonal.
I need to try to go straight to go diagonal, right? And we get there, and I miss the mark just by a little bit, to where like with my wingspan is like almost 7 feet, right?
That's
like
crazy.
6.5 feet.
Yeah.
So I essentially have to just kind of swim a little bit to get over to like the stairs. It's like kind of like pool stairs, like how that you climb up. But we get to this point, and it's funny because I thought it, but I wasn't gonna say it out loud. But I thought about I was like, this is my Captain America holding the helicopter moment, because here I am holding one arm on the thing and pulling the girls with their tubes over to the other way. And I was like, I feel like Captain America. And I thought it in my head 100%. And they were like, that was kind of like the Captain America. I was like, yes!
They said it?
Yes, they did.
No!
They were both thinking it. And I was like, all three of us are thinking it. Was great.
That's great.
It was so much fun. So we had a great day. But
that's a great day. But what?
I'm proud of you. We've now gone this far. You've tried to reveal this.
No,
I'm
being so
have
good.
The second worst sunburn I've ever gotten in my entire life.
You've had one worse?
Yeah. I'm very white, and I used to run track. So like first meet of the year, I would get really red.
Are you going to show on screen?
No, absolutely not.
He showed me.
But so like because of like this
nice.
past track season, like I'm like golden brown.
Look how white I am.
I'm golden brown like on my arms. Yeah, but like I'm like every time I've been outside in the last year, it's been with teenagers coaching ministry stuff. So like obviously I'm not gonna have my shirt off.
Right.
But like I go, so I haven't had like my shirt off in public in like over a year.
Right.
And then we go tubing, take my shirt off. I put all kinds of sunscreen on. I put it on twice.
I can't believe that. I find that hard to believe.
My entire like chest and belly are this color.
This color.
Yeah.
Like this red. You need to go
The
on
background of
YouTube
my
and
show.
look. I'm not kidding. He literally, and his wife was in the kitchen, so it's fine. Lifted up his shirt to show me, and I had a physical reaction.
Yeah, it's like, ow!
I went,
like that's how I felt for
like,
days.
I couldn't.
So
That was crazy.
So here's the thing.
And that's 2 days after.
2 days after.
I can't. It looks so bad.
And it
you
is.
should just lick aloe vera. Like
I don't think that's how it works.
Okay.
That explains
Taylor.
your mental state. So
we made
here I am.
margaritas.
I have this, like, it was the highlight of my week. I had a great, I guess my anniversary. Like, going tubing was great. But here I am, like, I loved this experience. It was great seeing all my friends again.
Yeah.
I loved tubing. It like brought back great memories of being in college. And then,
See, college.
yes, I mentioned it first, then you said it, and now you're saying that your reference is special. So I got
So
incredibly
mean.
sunburned, and I've been in pain for days after.
Yeah.
But it was still a great experience.
Good.
And I was like, that is the return to church, right?
Aw.
Where it's like, tubing is a great thing. Church is a great thing. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously, I think church is better, but whatever. But tubing can be more fun. You know what I mean? But like, going back is a
Yeah.
good thing. But like, my arms did not get sunburned because my arms have been out in the sun, but my chest did. So like, that part of me hadn't been opened up to the sun, right?
Building it.
And
Oh,
so
look
like,
at you.
we've been involved with prayer and watching mass online, but like, going back to church, like, it might be kind of painful. Like, you might be like, man, I forgot how much Catholics suck at music or preaching or being nice to your fellow parishioners. Like, I heard a story of a guy who doesn't have an evangelical bone in his body.
Yeah.
And he walked up to somebody after church and said, hey, our families have been sitting next to each other at mass.
Yeah.
I just wanted to come and introduce myself and just let you know that you're welcome. And the guy said, okay. And that was the extent of their conversation. So there might be some painful things as you're going back to mass, but it's still good.
People still suck.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I learned that.
Do you
during
listen to
COVID.
what I say?
Yeah, I was trying to help you out. I was trying to make everybody be like, wow, he's so smart. Why is Liv there?
Why is-
No, that's a really good analogy. You're not wrong. It's going to be painful as we go back and we adjust, but we're going to build back up to what we were able to do before. I hear you.
So
I
one
hear
day
what you're
your
saying.
Catholicism will be like my forearms and not my belly. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We've got a new sponsor. And I'm really excited to share with you that our newest sponsor is Select International Tours, because the world has been closed for over a year and it's finally opening up. The first sentence on this ad copy that I have here is France is open, which would have been an insane thing to say a year and a half ago. But 3 years ago or 4 years ago, just saying like a country is open is a weird thing to say unless we were just exiting a global pandemic, because it all made sense to you right when I said it. You know what I meant. So you can go on a tour with Select International Tours. Visit the shrines and venerate the saints of France this October 14th through the 23rd, 2021. The trip also includes a luxurious... Now, here's the thing. There are lots of words in this ad copy that are French. So I'm going to pronounce it 18 different ways, just so that you get the right one at some point. So this trip includes a luxurious Siena River cruise. I think that's right. The entire ship has been chartered. If a ship is chartered, it's called a chip. So everybody on board will be Catholic. You can also see Normandy and the D-Day beaches. You can visit Paris, Lisieux. They have some little flowers there. And so much more. There's also an optional extension to Lourdes. So visit the link, fortecatholic.com/tours, to see how you can get signed up. It's going to be great. France is awesome. I mean, they're not great at wars, but they're wonderful to visit. fortecatholic.com/tours. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I'm still Taylor.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Welcome back to Forte Catholic. That's Taylor Schroll, and I am the one and only Olivia de Havilland. No, I'm Olivia Harrison. Anyway, Taylor.
What is that?
She was a famous actress that was.
No,
named
she wasn't, because I
Olivia.
don't know who she
Yes,
is.
Gone with the Wind. She was doing Gone with. She actually just died.
Well, that's...
Her and Olivia Newton-John are the only famous Olivias.
I mean, she's
She was
from
super old.
She's from your generation.
She
That's
was
why I don't
over
know her.
100, Taylor. Jeez, she did. She just died. Anyway, so that's for all the old folks listening.
So the other day I was watching TV, and usually like most time during commercials, like you're checking your phone or you're going to get food or whatever.
I hate commercials.
Right? But for whatever reason, I think my phone was charging, so I didn't have my phone. I was watching basketball, so like I was engaged in what the TV show was, the basketball game. But there's this commercial, and it wasn't like the like Impossible Whopper or whatever, but it was like it was a company that like ships to your house like the Impossible meat or whatever, the meat that isn't meat, but it was like they're like it tastes the same, it looks the same, and I think that if I ever ate anything like that, like I think it would actually make me sick. Like I think knowing that it was different, I think it would make me sick, and I know that you're a big fan of it, and I want you to attempt to convert me and see how your evangelical chops are when it comes to fake meat.
Listen, I am a fan. Although I didn't stop eating meat because like to save animals, and so I'm a very weird vegetarian / vegan, depending on if we're in a pandemic
You're
or not.
weird anything, but sure.
Okay, so I don't miss meat. Like I never craved it because I never liked it, but. There are way different types of fake meat. So I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know anybody would ship it. The Impossible Whopper at Burger King is delish. It is so flipping good. Beyond Meat, though.
I liked that accidental joke because they flipped the burgers. Anyway, move on.
Beyond Meat, where like when you cut into it, it looks like it bleeds.
It was something like that.
That's gross.
Okay.
Like it's gross, and it's like it's got a lot of stuff in it. Like it's got like so each kind of brand
like
is so different.
Kool-Aid that makes it look like
they have
fake?
like it's called this textured. It's like this TWP, I think, textured wheat or whey or whatever. It's like some like thing you can buy it in the stores and make your own. I don't really know how I feel about that because it's like they make it from plants. But it gives this really weird texture, but people like it because they think it reminds them of meat. But so like those really high end kind of like, this is like a steak. It's got a lot of chemicals in it. I mean, like really, it's very, very processed. The things that I like I only get Impossible Burger from Burger King. I've never eaten Burger King in my life.
Okay, so here's my question.
Like textured.
What actually is like what makes up the Impossible Burger? Like what's actually in it?
Yeah, what is in that? I think it's seitan. Seitan is a big thing that everybody.
Satan. It sounds exactly like Satan, and that's my point. I didn't even know you were going to say that, and you just made my argument for me.
I think it's seitan. I don't make my own seitan. I know, that's hilarious. I'm a big tofu person. My kids love tofu.
Oh, see,
it's good. You got to know how to do it.
Tofu tastes like
burgers.
A bunch of pieces of gum stacked together.
If you're doing it wrong, yes. But I prefer.
Hey, you want a marshmallow that doesn't taste good and is really hard?
No.
Here you go.
My kids love tofu, and there's different types of tofu too. And you got to know people who know how to cook it and which type.
We're not talking about tofu.
It's all soy based.
What is Satan?
These are soy products. So what you're talking about, what they make is going to be a soy product, and the way that they process it and things like that. I prefer a burger made from like rice and stuff like Garden Burger does like a great rice patty, and it's like eating rice. It's like eating like a rice. That's fantastic, or beans or whatever. So there's different ways, but what you're talking about, they're processing soy into a space that is not okay. And it's super textury and chewy. Okay. And I think that's weird. And then they add beets to make it look like it bleeds.
Okay, that's fine. So let's the amount of things I have to do to rein you is unbelievable.
I was just
we're even though it wasn't the commercial that I said, we're only talking about the Impossible Burger at whatever
that one's
Burger
good.
King now, because I gotta limit you because we brought in tofu and Beyond Meat and it's bleeding.
What?
I don't care.
Okay.
The Impossible Burger. Two questions about it.
Yeah.
Because the two things that freak me out about it, or that make me think I wouldn't like it, is two things. One, I feel like it would, and you can argue these 2 points. I feel like it wouldn't taste like actual meat because, like, I think what's the thing? They're like gluten free. Like, I had a friend in college who was gluten free, and I was like, we would always go out to eat with like a group of friends, and she like couldn't eat much. Like, I can order from 130 things. She can only order from 4. And that's like
right.
That sucks. Like,
hard.
And like she wasn't like this was like before the gluten free phrase. Like she. Like legitimately got sick from it.
Celiac.
It wasn't a choice. Like she could not eat gluten. So I wanted to be nice to her. I think it was her birthday or something. And I found like a gluten-free restaurant where everything was gluten-free. So I was like, I'm going to eat something gluten-free.
These things.
And I ordered a gluten-free pizza and it was terrible because of two things.
It is.
It like I feel like I love like lettuce gluten free. I like lettuce, that's fine.
I think rice is gluten free.
When it tastes like you're trying to make it taste like the thing that I like, and it's not that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
And the second thing is like the texture.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm with you.
like the Impossible Burger, just because I think it's probably the most popular of it. Texture and taste. How is it?
Yeah, I think it tastes like a burger from Burger King, the way that they cook it, and that's really my only experience. The only experience I've had with Beyond Burger, which the Beyond is the one that is the one that really claims, for all you meat lovers, that I'm sorry, I'm Italian.
Her finger is like in my nose. Go away.
All right, sorry. For all the real like omnivores, that's the one that they really push is Beyond. And this spring, I got Pizza Hut's veggie sausage.
We're only talking about the Impossible.
I need you to listen. Let me finish. I need you to let me finish.
We only have an hour.
And so it's made with the Beyond Meat. And so they made it and they just like put little like hamburger pieces on it. And so it tasted amazing. I mean, like I was like, okay, I can now see what people are talking about. And that's my first time I've ever had the Beyond Meat. And so I think from what I hear, real people who love meat, they love the Beyond Burger. They really do. And you can get it like ground meat. Like you can cook it on your stove. Like it can come like it looks like ground
Sam
meat.
can cook it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay, so that's taste. What about the texture?
Yeah, the texture too. It's
Really?
very similar. Yeah.
Okay.
Very similar.
Here's
It's
the
not a
thing.
steak. It's not a porterhouse.
Well, I've never had one of those because I'm not married to a person who makes millions of dollars.
So, never mind.
Yeah, whatever.
Stop.
So here I am, back to the beginning of this segment. That was 8,000 years ago. I was watching TV and this commercial came on, and it was for whatever one of these fake companies. The next commercial, and before I tell you what it is, let's see if I can describe it. You can guess. You'll get it very quickly.
Okay.
Very, very large close-ups of sandwiches with it had to be a pound of meat on them. It was roast beef and big bread and chicken and turkey and ham. And that commercial ended with, Arby's, we have the meats. And watching those back to back, I was watching it directly. My wife was like we're at a hotel, so like like the kitchen and the living room are like one room, but they're she was getting a drink or something, and she heard it, and she snickered, and like just to like go from this
juxtaposed.
Like this one commercial that's like trying so hard to convince you it's just like the meat you like your whole life. It's just like stuff that tastes good. We promise it costs more and sucks, but we promise it's the same thing. And the next commercial, all they did was just show you meat that you know that you like for 28 seconds, and then they just say, we have meat. And I loved it so much. It was so funny. We laughed for like 5 minutes. It was great.
They're gonna get some callbacks from the guy that or they might have thought that was funny. The guy that plans out the commercial.
There was an intern that was like, "This is gonna be awesome."
Right, exactly. He's like,
some 19-year-old. Yeah.
That's awesome. So did you get Arby's after that? Like, I need to know. Did you have meat after that?
Well, I didn't.
We know you didn't get an Impossible Burger.
I didn't have Arby's, but I tell you what, I ate so many animals that week.
Meat.
Yeah. It was great.
Ate all the animals.
But it was so funny because I was listening. I was like, it was too funny of a story to like not share.
That's
so I knew we were gonna talk about it on the show.
Funny.
And then but I didn't know
what is it made of?
Like
soy. It's
no.
soy.
Let me do my transitions again. Stop making my transitions for me. I didn't know what obviously it's a funny story. And I think it might even be one of those it was really funny to be there. I think it's a chuckle hearing it on the show. But I was like, how can I make this something actually for the show? And it took me a couple of days, out on the boat and kind of hanging out. And then I was like, I think it is the perfect example of today, the interesting parts of today's culture and the church. Because people have been eating animals since people, since people existed. We've been doing this for years and years and years.
Okay.
And without getting into a bunch of things, our culture has been changing things rapidly over the last 10, 20 years that have been staples of humanity for thousands of years, right? Mm-hmm. And I get that some of those changes are good. A lot of them I don't agree with, and the church doesn't agree with, right?
Oh, I see.
So here is this commercial trying to convince me that this thing that humanity has been doing for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years are we promise it's just the same. It's just like that thing that you like. It tastes just the same. It looks the same. We promise it's the same, but it's we know it's not the same, right? It could be good and it could be and people enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, sure, like if you like that, cool, like that's fine, right? But then there's this commercial where it's just like, it just shows meat. It says, we have the meat. And here's the church that's been around for 2,000 years. And there's all these changes and there's all these falsities and fake versions of the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even truths that the church teaches. And there's all these twistings of these truths. Like, it's like, it's trying to be like meat.
The original.
Yeah, trying to be like the original.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But it's not.
And I just sat with it so much of like, and even like the scripture of like, you know, like, when you were young, you had milk, but then you graduated to the meat. Like the church, even like the Bible makes this connection. Like the church has the meat, like the things you can actually chew on, the truths of the church, the mysteries of the church, all of these things. And it wasn't even a flashy commercial.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, we have the fullness of the truth.
Yeah.
Come get it if you want.
Yeah.
You know, and it was interesting. It was fascinating. When it hit me, I was like, oh, wow, this is good.
So now everybody's going to go to Arby's after church on,
on
Sundays. Chick-fil-A's closed. So
yeah,
you can go get real meat at Arby's.
Yeah, that was the point of the segment. Go get Arby's. They're our newest sponsor.
I was going to say, you'd love that.
I would love that.
I mean, I enjoy curly fry. No, that's a really cool, because we try to say the fullness of truth. And what does that really mean? Was that like, so what does that mean? Everybody else just like, but you took it and you were like, okay, this is what it means. We have the original. We've got all of it. You can have the other stuff, but you're going to be left unsatisfied.
Exactly.
I like it.
Because there are some things that have changed that have been good. There's some things that have been bad. There are some things that are like, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because like, obviously, like for people who like health reasons, like actually can't eat animals.
Yeah.
Like it's good.
Sure.
Even if you don't want to eat animals and it's not a health thing.
I don't.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But like, obviously all analogies break down. Right. Obviously, it's not like you have to eat meat to go to heaven. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Right. But I just found it fascinating that like they had to work so hard to convince you that this other thing was the real thing when it's not the real thing.
I think about that
like
with
that.
like, I know you probably want to move on, but like with birth control, like we've tried so hard to come up with
Remember
all these
a second ago when I said we're not going to get into the controversial things?
Okay. I was just going to say, I'm not trying to get in the controversial thing, but there is a way that you can with a woman's body that you don't need anything else. Like what you're saying, like if you stay with the original, it's just about that concept. We try as humans all the time to make up stuff, and it just always falls short. And so I'm saying I validate what you're saying about the Impossible Burger.
Well, you could have said that without getting into controversy. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're keeping this ad short and sweet, people. Ever since I started doing ads for Catholic Match, ever since they became a sponsor on the show, people have been reaching out to me like crazy. Like, hey, I met my husband, I met my wife on Catholic Match. Hey, I just started dating somebody because of Catholic Match. They're coming out of the woodworks. So if you're a single Catholic and you haven't signed up yet, what are you doing? Forte Catholic, no, don't go to that website. That website sucks. CatholicMatch.com/Forte. You can sign up for the app for free. And also everybody that signs up over in like this 2-month span that we are currently in gets input for the possibility to win a free premium subscription, which means you will 100% get married. I don't know. I don't know what that plan is. It's not that guarantee, but it's better. The app is great. I mean, it's working for so many people. You've maybe tried other things. Maybe even tried this before. But give it a go. CatholicMatch.com/Forte. Find a love story. Find someone to love. Maybe marry them. And have Catholic babies. Well, I mean, they'd be heathen babies. And then you'd get them baptized. Then they'd be Catholic babies. Parents, baptize your kids early. Okay, that's the ad. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I'm still Taylor Schroll, and that's still Olivia Eugene Harris.
So stupid.
Makes me so happy. I was thinking about something recently because I think I just realized something that has always bothered me, but I wasn't ever like able to, like, it didn't happen enough it would always just frustrate me, but I didn't realize that it was a pattern, I guess, right? It didn't happen. And then I had some things happen over the last few months that made me realize, like, this is a big deal for me. And it all boils down to, like, it really frustrates me when people don't want to get better at something. This could be in spiritual life. I coach sports, work, professionally, spiritually, relationally, like whatever it is. Like, if people don't want something to get better, it drives me crazy. Even more let's say there's one example. Let's say that there's a person who's an A plus or let's say they're a A minus basketball player.
Okay.
Right? They're an A minus basketball player, and they're on my team. I don't coach basketball, so I can't get in trouble for this. A minus basketball player. But then there's another kid on the team who's a B minus basketball player.
Okay.
The B minus basketball player works his tail off, and by the end of the season, he's a B plus basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still not as good as the A minus guy,
Mm-hmm.
but the A minus is still an A minus.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that I would much rather coach. I like coaching a team because on any team you end up having all of those kids, right?
Sure.
But I like having really good athletes. I like being around people that are good at stuff. I like people professionally. I like being around people who are good professionally. But it really frustrates me professionally or coaching when I try to coach or I try to help or like professionally, like when I'm doing my job, like, hey, you should probably be doing this or tweak this, and it'll be a little bit better when it comes to, especially when it comes to podcasting. Like that's the big thing that I do is help people with podcasting. And I've had people where I'm like, hey, this is what you need to do to be successful. And then they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then their project's a failure.
Yeah.
And it's like, it frustrates me so much because it's like it's never like you have to completely change who you are or what you're doing.
Yeah.
Make these 3 tweaks and you'll grow exponentially. And people don't do it, and it drives me bonkers.
But why do they not do it? Like, seriously, why? Like, especially in the podcast realm, why do you think? Is it because they're arrogant? Is it because they think you're an idiot? Is it because they don't know how to apply?
I think it's
notes?
primarily 2 things.
Okay.
I think it's primarily 2 when it comes to coaching or like professional coaching, like with podcasting stuff. I think it's one where one thing is that like this isn't a priority to them. So whether it's a kid playing this sport, either this sport isn't the priority for him, or if people are podcasting, it's like this is their. If they listed things that they did at work, this would be their 12th most important thing.
I see.
Right,
mm-hmm.
And it's just like I don't really care. So it's really hard. I actually, ironically enough, talked about coaching and being coached like 2 weeks ago on the show, but I think that's probably why it was on my mind. But what was I saying? I lost my train of thought completely.
About the 2 reasons why you think people don't make the change, like when you coach them in podcasting professionally, or when you coach them in sports. You said that they don't. It's not their top priority, so therefore they don't take your notes and apply them. And so, what would be the other reason as to why do they not make the changes? Yeah. Are they arrogant? Do they think you don't know anything? Do they like what is the pushback that you get from?
Yeah. The second thing is that they just think that they're good enough where they are, right?
People settle.
Yeah. Like
that people are
really
okay settling,
right?
And that is my big personal, professional thing. Is that I have this new mantra that I try to empower everybody with about being extraordinary. Because here's the thing: I think the devil's brilliant, and he's made us all be okay with it, with just being ordinary, just being mediocre, just settling. Like it's okay that I just am, vanilla. Like, and there's this whole culture about it. And I'm over here going like, this is the same God that made mountains and the ocean and all the stars. And he took time to make you. You're not ordinary. So stop acting like it. But people are okay with it.
Yeah. It's crazy because I think,
is crazy.
I think like there are people that I have coached in the past, some of which who I like that I've coached in the past, and people who I used to help them with their podcast and don't anymore. And a couple where it's like, I can see this not lasting, right? Yeah. Because it's this thing where it's interesting in podcasting because people know because I'm good at my job, they don't need to improve at their job, right?
Oh.
And like what a lot of people don't think through. I think because I've been whether it's coaching or podcasting, I've been in both of those worlds for so long that I see things that other people don't see, and so I can see. Almost everybody that has started a podcast in the last year and a half because everything shut down is also a speaker or a leader or someone who needs to lead meetings. And it's like they are not improving because they know that I'm there to fix their problems. When they stutter, when they say the same things, when they say everybody has their or like their stutters or whatever. But if I still have them, and I've been a professional speaker and radio host for years, and I still have them. But if you listen to me today and you listen to my first episode, it's tremendously different in content, style, everything. And people just don't want to get better. And what I'm trying to tell them is, look, I can't be there for the rest of your life. Like, these are things that actually bother people. If you use the same things, or you're saying platitudes, or stuttering, or whatever it is, people would appreciate it, you as a leader or a speaker and a podcaster or whatever, if you tried to get better at these things.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to professional comedians all the time. One of my favorite comedians says all the time. He probably says it 12 times a minute. He used to say it 30.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like, so I would rather that than somebody who naturally says 12 times in a minute and just keeps it.
Yeah, right.
It drives me mental when people don't want to get better. Because, like, I have, and it's another big picture thing too when it comes to coaching. Like, I have kids who are one of the fastest people in their school, and they don't realize that the world's bigger than them. So then and even some of our local, like, we are the best team locally.
Yeah.
So we win all of our meets locally. Yeah. So they're like, oh, I don't like, and I harp on them over and over again. Like, you're not as good as you think you are. There are teams later in the season that you're going to see them, and they are working their tails off right now. And they're like, well, I'm hot stuff.
Yeah.
And I have maybe, it's part of my job as a coach to coach that out of them, right? And for the most part, I do. And, like, it helps that I've been doing this for 5 years, and the older kids can help reaffirm the things that I'm saying, right? But every now and then I have a superstar.
Oh, sure.
I have a star. I don't have a super. Every now and then I have a star that could easily be a superstar. And they don't buy into what I'm doing until too late.
You've never had one that got it? You know what I mean?
Like, oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I've had tons of superstars that get it. They
no, but
match
I mean,
their talent.
early, like that really, they're like, okay, I'm in it. I get
No,
it.
that's what I'm saying. I've had a ton of those. I've had a ton of superstars that match their talent with their work ethic.
All right.
I've had a few others that have been stars but never became superstars because they didn't put the work in.
Okay, got it.
And they realized they need to start working hard, like, the week after district. Because district, they're like, oh, I won, but I was challenged for the first time all season.
Interesting.
But by then it's too late.
It's too late.
Because the next week they're not making it to state because they're not getting out of region because you had to put the work in 3 months ago to do it now. And it just drives me crazy when people aren't wanting to be better. Like, even when I have kids who are terrible.
They don't care.
Like, as long as, like, I had a kid who was the slowest person in school history in one of the races. By the end of the season, he was like the 6th slowest in school history. Hey. He jumped more spaces than most people did on the leaderboard.
Awesome. And you respect him.
And I love that.
You love that.
It's so great. Like, I enjoyed coaching that kid more than other kids that I've had in the past that ran the same time that they did their sophomore year, their junior year, and their senior year. No, when I have other kids who I've dropped 12 seconds off their times on stuff. You know, it just baffles me that people don't want to get better.
Yeah, but they don't. And I was going to say, I mean, it's so funny that you're saying this because my daughter, Kana, who I don't talk a lot about, but she's 11 and she did swim team and she got most improved swimmer.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I was so, like, as a parent, because this also applies to a lot of parenting, right? How many times do you tell your kids stuff? And then, you know, now I have an 18-year-old and now all of a sudden he's like, oh, yeah. You know, like sometimes there's like little things that you're like, really? You're just now getting this, you know? So it was really great to see Kana get that award. And I'm like, I'm so proud of her because she is not the fastest, but she does not give up. She has perseverance like I've never seen. She'd be the kid on the team that you'd really appreciate her because she's like, okay, yeah, I'll go back in there again. And you're like, she literally just lost or almost lost. Right. And she's like back in the water, you know, with confidence and making the notes that you said. And I love that. I really admire her for that. So anyway.
You know where she gets it from?
Huh?
You. That's why I brought this up. Because I think of all the friends that I have made, like in the last 5-6 years, right? Like adult friends.
Yeah. Not college.
Not college. And like, I mean, you are 10 years older than me.
I am.
Like, usually older people don't change as much.
Right.
Like, it is so much easier. With everything being said, it's so much easier for me to coach my kids, my high school kids, than it's so rare. The situation that I shared today is so much more rare than when I work with adults.
Adults are the worst.
Yeah.
They are the worst.
But you, being the old woman that you are, of all of my friends, of all the relationships that I actually care about in my adult life, you, like, when I tell you something that, like, and we've talked about them at length on the air. We don't have to get into all of it. Yeah. But like, hey, you're doing something wrong.
Oh, personally, as a person, or professionally.
You have changed it like on the dime. It's incredibly impressive.
Thank
Where you're
you.
just like, oh, like I hear. Now, I wish after today's show, I wish you would just stop doing my transitions for me. I'm just going to stop telling you what we're talking about because what happens is I tell you at the beginning what we're going to talk about and like this is how the story is going to be laid out. And you're like, oh, he just said B. I'm going to say G.
Okay. But I've gotten better since the first
You 100% have.
See, I messed up the first segment and then I corrected it immediately. That is true. I will correct immediately. I am an immediate corrector.
And it's impressive. And I like that about you. And it's one of the reasons that as much as you drive me crazy, you're still around.
I get to stick around.
Because, like I said, I have A people in my life. And when you were a D- when you started, but you've worked really hard and you've become at least a solid like B-ish. So
B-ish. Mother.
You heard it here first. Taylor Schroll called Liv Harrison a B. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing, but I did.
You did on the air.
So just to close out our show,
I think there was a compliment in there somewhere.
I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, what are the things? Like, I think because of like I talked on the air about I used to be way more narcissistic than I am now.
Yeah,
and
you've been working on it.
We talked about it in text messages and stuff after.
Nathan's talked to you about it.
Yeah, everyone's texted me about it. It's so funny.
Well, that Nathan got involved and he texted you because he cares.
Right, yeah, it was really nice.
He's like, you're a good person.
Everyone was so nice to me. I've had more people text or message me like since I talked about it where it was like more people talk to me, say nice things about me behind my back, but no one says it in person because that's what I talked about on the show.
Hilarious.
Like, oh, thanks everybody.
No, you've worked really hard on that because I literally my life I almost like got destroyed by a narcissist, and you're not one of them. And I've had to remove those people in my life. But it was. I mean, it's why I had such a horrible year last year. But you're not. You've really worked on it. Now we all have tendencies. Obviously, some of us might have more than others, but you have faced that, and I mean, kudos to you. So you recognize it.
Do you remember kudos? They were like the sticks.
Aren't they around?
I don't know. I haven't had one since high school. Anyway,
if I did this, you would yell at me right now.
Yeah, it's a weird way to end the show.
You know what?
It's a really weird
you
way
pulled
to end
an
the
Olivia.
show. But yeah, so I would say just my challenge would be like just because it's been on my mind a lot.
We should cheers.
Shut up. Stop making my transitions.
You
were doing so good. I'm trying to challenge the listeners to grow in holiness, and now I'm yelling at you to shut up and calling you a B. My challenge would be, it's been really good for me to be, these things have just been on my mind naturally. So thinking about the things that like, how can you improve and what can you actually do, right? And it's going to be things like it took me years. It's taken you years. God knows. Just get better, people. Whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, in relationships, like take that little step. I can't answer it for you, but you can. You've probably been thinking about it throughout the segment. What's that one thing that you can improve on so you don't drive me insane? I'll be back next week. Say it. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. I hope that you had a blast because we did. Until the end there. Boy, gotta look at this. I'm just kidding. We're best friends. We went and had a drink after. It was grand. But boy, she drives me crazy sometimes, and I her. So if you like today's episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button wherever you are listening or watching. Follow us on social media. You know the drill. Check out the links in the description for all of those things. Have a great week, and I'll be back for the next one next Wednesday.